Hello and welcome. You are now looking at the desktop of the Windows 10 operating system on a Windows PC. And Windows 10 offers a number of productivity changes that you can use in your everyday business. Some features will be familiar to you and will be upgraded versions of past operating systems. In other cases, you'll notice entirely new features that will help you to do some of the tasks that you undertake every day. Now in this course, we'll be looking at the new File Explorer, which is an upgraded version of the Windows Explorer. We'll also take a look at new ways to manage your display as well as your desktop. We'll look at Cortana, the voice assistant, as well as the Quick Assist system. We'll look at the media streaming options. We'll look at the voice recorder, as well as a way to take screenshots of content on your desktop. We'll look at an application in Windows 10 that shows you how to work with your steps recorder. We'll look at the camera application that'll show you how to use your webcam. And finally, we'll explore the Windows Store to add applications to your Windows 10 setup. So in the next video, we will begin with the File Explorer as we get started with the course. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one of the new things in Windows 10 is called File Explorer, and it's really the upgraded version of the Windows Explorer from past operating systems. And so to get access to the File Explorer, all you're going to do is open one of your folders. If you don't have any folders open, what you can do is go all the way over to your Windows icon. You'll click on that Windows icon. You'll then look for the search. You can then type in computer. When you see this link that says this PC, you can click on it. That's going to open up this File Explorer window where you then have access to the File Explorer. You're going to notice that the File Explorer has three menus. It has a File menu, it has a Computer menu, it has a View menu. And when we click on the File menu, you're going to notice that the Open Windows PowerShell is grayed out. And that's because we're in the C menu directory. What we're now going to do is we're going to open up a separate window of the File Explorer. And we're going to do that from our C drive. And we're going to do that by right-clicking this C drive, and then we're going to click Open in a new window. That's going to open up the File Explorer again. And when we go to the File menu, you're going to notice then that we have our Open Windows PowerShell menu. What we're now going to do is we're going to then walk through this process of opening a new window. When we do that, what we're doing is we're opening a new instance of the File Explorer. So we click File, we open a new window, we click Open New Window, and you'll notice then that this is going to be the exact same directory that we're opening. What you're also going to notice in the File menu is we have these frequent places. And you'll notice that some of these frequent places are going to be considered to be permanent. Others are going to be shown according to their use. Now, when you see the push pin and it's horizontal, that means that this is a temporary frequent place according to how many times we're using the folder. If we want that folder always to be there, we can then click on top of the push pin, and then these frequent places will always be there when we open this menu. Going back to the Windows PowerShell, what we're doing when we open the Windows PowerShell is we're opening to the C prompt in case you have to do some operation that requires you to work outside of Windows. And so we can do that by just going to Open Windows PowerShell. That's going to open up this window, and then you'll see the C prompt, which will then be ready for you to place instructions for your operating system. Now the File menu also has change folder and search options, which we will explore in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now what you also have available in the File menu is you have the change folder and search options. If we click that link, that's going to open up this dialog box. And you're going to have general options, view options, and search options. Now the view options will also appear in the view menu where it says options here. Now just looking at the general options, what you can do is you can change the way that you look at folders. For example, whenever you open the File Explorer, you can have this File Explorer open to either this PC or this area of quick access folders. You can also make it so that you can single click a folder and you can open an item, and you can change the way the quick access works. So right now the quick access is working so that recently used files are opening in the quick access, as well as frequently used files. And we can change that so that only the frequently used files are going to be those opening in the quick access, and so that those that will be showing here will be the ones we use frequently, unless again we make them permanent by using the push pin. And when you open up the view in the folder options, you're going to have some things available to you that will not be available by default. So for example, you can choose so that anytime you open a file or folder, you'll always see an icon and not the thumbnail. You can always show the menus, and you'll see several things that you can add to the way that your file options work in this area. And when you're choosing your search options, you're going to notice by default, one thing is that when you're choosing your search options, you'll notice that there are going to be some things available to you by default, such as including the system directories. Now, what will not be available to you by default is that your compressed or zip files will be included in your searches. You can make sure that they're going to be included by clicking this box. You can also search the contents of your files, and by doing this, that's going to make your search take longer, but then you're going to be a little more accurate. Again, this is not going to be available to you by default, and you can leave it this way so that it does not do that, or you can test this kind of search depending on how you structure your files. Of course, if you feel as if you'd rather go back to the way your computer worked when you first started, you can always click this Restore Defaults button. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, in the File Explorer, you also have the Home menu. That's typically going to be your default menu. And it has a couple of things that you may not have seen in prior versions. First thing you're going to be able to see is on the very left-hand side, you have a pin to quick access. So if there is a folder that you're using all the time, you can pin that to the quick access. So for example, if we were to take this folder, Users, what we could do is we can click the pin to quick access area, and then that users folder is then going to be part of this area that we're going to be able to access all of the time. If we want to unpin from this area, we can right click. You'll see that you have a menu area, and what you can do is you can click this link that says unpin from quick access. Standard to the home menu, you're always going to have your copy and paste commands. What's different is you may not have seen that you have a copy path command. So for example, if you have a particular folder open and you highlight a specific folder, what you can do is you can click this copy path link. That's going to give you the copy path, and you can then place that in the address bar in any File Explorer window. So for example, if we were to open this File Explorer window, once the area is open, we can then paste the path. We're going to take out the parentheses, and then we can then click this path, and what's going to happen then is that folder will then be available to us in the File Explorer menu. We can also analyze a particular folder and analyze its properties. We can highlight the folder, we can then open up the properties, and then we'll be given the information about everything that's in that folder in this properties dialog box. And lastly, we can always rename our file. Of course, we can do that by right-clicking the folder. We can also do it as part of the home menu. If we want to change it, all we'll need to do is to click this rename button and to write the new name in as we want it. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. In the File Explorer menu, you also have a Share menu, and most of these commands are going to be familiar to you. You can take any folder or any set of folders and you can email them, and they're going to be emailed as an attachment. You can take any folder, any set of folders, and you can zip them from this command inside of your File Explorer. Of course, you can also do this by right-clicking. So for example, if we wanted to take these two folders together and we wanted to zip them into one compressed file, we can then click this command, and then they're going to be zipped into a compressed file. which we will then need to rename. Provided that you have some kind of writable disk inside of your PC, what you can do is you can take all of these files and you can burn them to a particular disk. And what you need to do is you need to click this link. As long as you have the media inside of your drive, you can then burn these files to a particular disk. You can take a document from this menu and you can use the fax command. So for example, you'll see there that if we click this PowerPoint presentation, what we can do is we can then click this fax button, and then that will then open up a dialog box for us to be able to fax the document. Now in this menu, you'll see this says share menu in this panel. That means then that we can share our folders or set of folders with anyone in a particular network that we share. So for example, if we were to take this folder, we can then share that document with anyone that's going to be in our network. They'll show up here, or we can share them with specific individuals that we designate. Once we have given that person access, we can then remove that individual by clicking this Remove Access button. There are also advanced security features for each folder or each set of folders. And we can see at a glance who has access to a particular folder. We can access how these folders are being shared, as well as auditing and effective access privileges. Of course, we can take any document and we can share it using this command all the way to the left, and all we'll need to do is to click this button. And we can choose to share the document by email with members of our contacts. We can also share the document by Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So for example, if we were to click Tap to Turn, Windows will then look for other devices with whom we can share the document. And of course, we can also share through any of the available methods such as mail, your cloud drive, your OneNote through the cloud drive, or Skype. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now the next menu over is the View menu. And the View menu will give you access to tools that will allow you to organize your information in the folder that you are working in. And there are 4 windows. There is the Pane window, Layout window, Current View window, and Show and Hide menu. Now the navigation pane will allow you to either have or not have this panel on your left-hand side. So for example, what we can do is we can then take this down arrow and we can untick the navigation pane. And what you'll notice then is that it will no longer be there, and all you'll see there will be your files. We can then take this navigation pane and we can tick it again, and then we'll have the navigation pane available. You have some other options here. You can expand to open all the folders in your navigation pane. You can show all the folders and show all the libraries. And all you'll have to do is to tick these so that you'll be able to see how they're going to look. You can also create 2 other panes. You also have a preview pane. And if you have a particular file, you can highlight the file, you can open the preview pane, and then you'll be able to see a preview of that file on the right-hand side. You can also open a details pane. When the details pane opens, the preview pane closes, and then you get all of the details about this particular file. And you can choose to have this pane closed. And what you can also do if you go to the Show and Hide panel, you can then make sure that the file name extensions are going to be visible. And you'll see that here. You'll notice that you see the word zip after the file. We can then take this button and we can make it then so that the extension will not appear after the file or the folder. We can tick it back and then we'll be able to see the extension. We can give our folder checkboxes. So if we tick this box, what we can do, we can give each file a box where we can manipulate the file within a folder. And when you're inside of a system folder, you're going to notice there are going to be some folders that are going to be slightly faded in color, and that means that they're typically hidden. So for example, if we were to untick this hidden items area, what you're going to notice is that the only files you're going to see are those that are going to be typically used. We can then make sure that we can see all of the file folders by clicking this hidden items button And many times this will help us to troubleshoot an issue when we have one. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. If you look at your view pane, typically what's going to happen is that you're going to see that by default, you're going to be in a details view. That means then that you'll be able to see all of the folders or files according to some order that you set. So for example, you'll notice that these files are now in alphabetical order, and you can see that here in this row. We can change that order and we can sort that order by a different column by just clicking this area. And if we want to make sure that it's going to be organized by the date it's been modified, we can click this area. If we want them to be organized by type, we can click this area. Now we can change the way that we view these folders in this layout area. And we can do that by either making all of the folders into large icons. We can make them into medium icons. We can even make them into smaller icons. We can create a list, or we can create the details, and the details will give us different ways of organizing and determining what kind of information that we have. We can expand the number of details that we associate, and we can do that by going to this top line, right-clicking, and then adding in any of the other attributes that we want to add. So for example, if we click more, we can add in other attributes, and you can see that here. We can also use the sort by command at the very top in the current view. So for example, what we can do is we can sort by the date. We can sort by the type. In this case, all of the files are going to be the same type. We can sort by date created. And all of the attributes that we have in the details area, we can sort by using this current view. Now what we can also do with the current view is we can then change this view to the details. And you'll notice here that we have the length of each video. And this can be a particular help to us if we want to sort by the amount of time that it takes a video to complete. As you can see here, the order then changes. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now on the far right hand side, next to the address bar, you'll notice that there's an area where you can search the folder or the drive that you're working in. And if you put the cursor inside of the search box, what you're going to notice is that you're going to have search tools become available to you in the menu area. Now when we start the search, we have a few options available to us. We can search only the current folder, and that's going to search just the things within the folder where we've placed our cursor. And we can also go one step further and we can search all the subfolders inside of that folder that we're in. What we can do before we start is we can look for a specific kind of document. What we can also do is we can narrow our search down to a specific kind of file. In this case, we can look for a document file. And so anything that we search in this box is only going to be a document within the search area. We can also narrow down our search further by making sure that we're only going to look at a specific size of file. And in this case, we've narrowed down our search even more. And we can use some of the search properties in order to narrow down our search further. What we can also do when we write in our search is we can look for a specific kind of file. So for example, let's assume that we're going to write in here the word marketing. And then we want to look for a specific kind of file with the word marketing. And so to do that, we're going to place a space after our search word. We're going to write in the word EXT. We're then going to write in a colon. And then we're going to write in the file that we're going to be looking for. In this case, we're going to write in .jpg. And you'll notice then that we are only going to look for the files with the extension JPG with this word marketing in it. If we know we're going to do the search again, we can save the search in the option area. And we can run the same kind of search in another folder or in another drive by going to this area where it says search again in. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, Windows 10 does give you applications to manage your desktop. If you go to your desktop, place your mouse someplace where there is an icon, you right-click that mouse. What you can do is you can first view your icons in a certain manner. Of course, just as you can inside your folders, you can then see them as large icons. You'll see that there. You can size them back down to medium, or you can size them down to small. In some cases, if you're doing a recording and maybe you don't want to show your desktop icons, you can then remove them altogether and then they won't show. You can right click and then you can bring them back by showing the desktop icons. You can also sort the icons that are on your desktop. What you can do is you can sort those icons by their name, and this will then arrange them in alphabetical order according to the name of the shortcut that you have in the desktop. In some cases, it may be most helpful to sort them by the last one that you did or the date modified. So you can do that by clicking on date modified, and what you'll see is that these icons will then be arranged according to how you have installed applications or modified applications on your personal computer. And of course, you can then sort them by item type on your desktop. This can be helpful if you're trying to find a particular zip file, or if you're trying to find a particular open file. You'll be able to see them all at a glance in one area. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, Windows 10 does give you tools to manage your display. In order to do that, you're going to right-click on your display or display monitor. You can then click Display Settings. If you are using multiple monitors, you can manage them from this area. So for example, you can then identify each monitor by clicking on this button. This will identify the monitor you're working with. We can then click on that monitor and we can make changes to the monitor according to how we want to work with it. One of the things that Windows 10 gives you so that you can have help in resting your eyes before you sleep is they have something called the night light setting. You can turn this on, and then what you'll see here is that you can have these settings come available to you at 9 p.m., but you can change them here. And basically you're shown colors conducive to sleep the later it gets. Now, in order to see how this works, we're just going to click the turn on button. And you'll see here that the settings and the color of your display changes in order to get you more acclimated for sleeping. You can then set your schedule and hours as to when you want the night light settings to come on. What you can also do is you can change the size of everything that you see. Currently, you're looking at a size of 125%, the actual size. We can change that to be larger. So if we change this now to 175%, and when we open this, you're going to notice then that the display is going to be considerably larger. You can then change this back to where we were, and then your icons will then return to the original size. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, Windows 10 does have a voice assistant that will help you to operate things on your personal computer. And in order to get access to and to change the settings in the voice assistant, which is also called Cortana, what you're going to do is place your cursor inside of the box, and then you're going to click this gear for the settings. You'll first have a setting where you're going to check to make sure that Cortana can hear your commands. And so you can test this by clicking check the microphone. Now, in order to test your microphone, you are going to have to say yes to this request. If you want to check their privacy statement, you can do that before you go through this process. Windows will then detect any problems with your system. And if there are no problems, you can move on to complete your setup. Now you can make it so that you can activate Cortana by saying, "Hey Cortana." You can do that by ticking this on. In order to have Cortana respond to you, you're going to have to keep your device from sleeping, so this is going to be on by default. Now, in order to personalize further, you're going to click this link that says, "Learn how I say Hey Cortana." So you're then going to click this link.
I'd be happy to help out with that. As soon as you sign in, I can get started.
So what we're going to do now is we're now going to click Personalize. And what you're going to do is you're going to determine all of the things that Cortana can know about you in these menus that you're scrolling through right now. And so basically, once you've done that, you will then be able to activate Cortana by using the phrase. In this case, we're going to use the phrase that was specified. "Hey Cortana." And once you've done that, you can begin to give Cortana commands in order to do searches as well as operate certain aspects of your personal computer while you're using Windows 10. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, there may be times when you need to have someone work with you remotely on your personal computer, or you may need to work with someone on their personal computer and you need to do so remotely. Windows 10 gives you a feature to facilitate this. And to find it, we're just going to go to the search box and we're going to type in Quick Assist. And you're going to notice that this is a desktop app. We're going to open up this desktop app. And once you have it open, you'll notice that you're going to have two choices. You can either get assistance from someone, allowing someone you trust to assist you by taking control of your computer through this facility, or you can give assistance. So for example, let's assume that you're going to give assistance. We're going to click this area. And now the other person that you'll be working with is going to need to have your security code. They're obviously also going to need to have Windows 10. And so what we're going to do is we're going to copy this security code to our clipboard, and then we can send it to the individual so that we can then take control of their PC through this remote facility. Now, assuming that you're the person that is going to be receiving the assistance, you're then going to go to this area in Quick Assist. And when you open up the link, you're then going to need to have the code that the other individual has given you so that they can begin to work on your personal computer remotely. And that is how you'll be able to work with others using Windows 10. As long as you both have the operating system, you'll be able to work with each other remotely. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, it's quite possible that you may have MP4s and MP3s on your personal computer that you want to stream to other devices on your network without streaming them over the internet. You can do that by using the media streaming options. In order to find them, what you're going to do is you're going to place your cursor inside of the search area. You're then going to type in media streaming options. And you'll see them in your control panel. You'll then click the link. You'll then see whether or not your media streaming options are turned on. In order to turn on media streaming, what you're going to do is click Turn on Media Streaming. And what you're going to do is you're going to decide and customize how your stream is going to be available. So for example, what we can do is we can show the devices in our local network, or we can show the devices in all the connected networks that we have access to. In this case, we're going to show the devices on our local network. We're then going to click Customize. We're then going to decide which media we want to have available on the network to be streamed. So for example, we can decide that we only want our videos to be streamed. And once we do that, we can then click OK. We can then decide which devices we're going to have available. In fact, we can remove devices that we don't want onto the plan, and then we can click OK. So what we've basically done now is we've made it possible to access media on our personal computer through streaming access as long as we have access through the home network. This means then that we do not have to duplicate our media on multiple devices. We can just access it through the one device where it resides. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, Windows 10 gives you the ability to record your screen. And you can record your screen using a feature that is basically created for gamers, but can be used to your advantage. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the Window key, then we're going to quickly click the G key. You'll then see a bar available to you at the bottom of the screen. And this bar will allow you to record your screen. You have your mic available to you if you want to use it while recording. You can also click this button in order to get started. You want to take a snapshot of what you're doing, you can click this camera button and that'll take a screenshot of your action. And then if you want to broadcast, you can use this button to broadcast what you're showing on your screen. Now, again, this is really meant for you to use as a gamer, but can be used effectively for your purposes. So in order for there not to be a conflict between screen recorders, we're going to turn off the recording right now, and then we're going to record a short portion using this screen recorder, and then come back so you can see the rest of the process. The next thing we're going to do off camera is to click the record button. So your videos will then be in the directory, this PC, videos, then captures. You'll then be able to open the video that you created, and you'll be able to play it. Testing. This is the game bar. We are watching the game bar. We're now opening a browser, and we're now closing the game bar. And so you can record your actions on your screen using the game bar in Windows 10. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You can also record audio using your Windows 10 OS. What you'll need to do is to go to the search bar. You'll then write in voice recorder. You'll see the Microsoft Store app. You'll click voice recorder. You'll have a basic voice recorder available to you. And all you'll need to do is you'll need to click the mic in order to record. And once your audio is recorded, you can highlight the audio. You can then click this button. You can rename the audio. You can also trim the audio. And you can decide on where you want the trim to take place. And then click the Save button. You can save a copy or you can leave the original. In this case, we'll save a copy. And then we can rename the copy. And that's how you can use your Windows operating system in order to create audio content. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, Windows 10 does have a facility that will allow you to take screenshots of what you're working on. And in order to find it, what you'll need to do is to write into your search box. You'll just need to type in snipping tool. You can click on the desktop app. You're then going to have a window available to you. You'll notice then that you'll have an area where you can click New, and this will be where you can form your screenshot. So we're going to click the New button. And what we're going to do then is we're going to then be able to drag the cursor around the area where we want to do our screenshot. So for example, if we want to take this area of our screen, we can do that. Now we have tools available to us where we can then begin to work with our snipping tool. You can then use the tools in order to work with your screenshot. And then once you've completed your final version, you can then go to the File area. You can then save your new document. You can save the document as a PNG file, a GIF file, or a JPG file, or even as a web page. Now Windows 10, you can also print to PDF. You can go to the File command. You can go to your printer. You can then choose Microsoft Print to PDF, and then you can click Print. Once you decide on your file name, you can then click Save, and your screenshot will then be ready as a PDF. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, another thing you can do inside of Windows 10 is you can document your processes by recording your steps. And so to do that, you're going to go into your search area. You're then going to type in Step Recorder. And then you're going to click on the desktop app. Then once you have your desktop app open, you can then click Start Record. Then you can begin to record your steps. And then once you've completed your steps, you can then stop recording. You'll then have your steps recorded along with a screenshot of what it is that you actually did. You'll also have the detail that you can apply to what you're doing in terms of documenting your processes. Now, you'll definitely have to do some editing and you'll have to apply the content with care. However, you will have the bulk of your steps documented in both visual as well as step form. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now with Windows 10, you can capture and record live video on your personal computer. And in order to do that, you're going to use the Camera app. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to the search bar. You're then going to type in Camera. You're going to click on the trusted Microsoft Store app. That's going to open up your camera settings. Now presently, the lens to the camera is closed, so you will not be able to see what it's actually recording. However, the camera is functional. If you have a USB camera and you have one on your personal computer, you can actually change those cameras by clicking this button. To work with the settings on the camera, you can go to this gear and you'll be able to control what the camera is actually going to show as it records your webcam. If you want to take a snapshot, you can click this camera button. And in order to start the video, all you'll need to do is to click this button that says Take Video. And then once the video is complete, you can then click this red button. That'll stop taking the video. Your recording will then be present inside of the directory This PC, Pictures, and then Camera Roll, and you'll be able to then see the video in MP4 format. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. One of the ways you can add to the capability of Windows 10 is to add applications to it. In order to find those applications, all you'll need to do is to type in Store and go to the Microsoft Store. And then what you'll need to do is you'll need to click this link that says Apps. And then you can begin to search for apps, or you can browse for them. In some cases, you can pay for the capacity to extend Windows 10, or you can use some of the free applications that it has available to it. For example, many cloud-based applications that you're already using through the web, you can attach them to your Windows 10. Or in some cases, there are hybrid applications that you're already using that you can, again, add to Windows 10's capability. So the place to start would be to use your search bar and then to type in the function first of what you want to do. And then you'll want to see what you have available inside of the Windows Store. So for example, if we were to type in the phrase Project Manager, you'll see some applications available to you. You see Microsoft To Do, which you can add to your Windows 10. In this case, you'll just click the Get button. Microsoft will then download to your hard drive. And then the product will be installed automatically. You can then go to the launch area. And then the app will then be part of your Windows 10. And you can do this with any other app that you want to add to your capability. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. In conclusion, we've now looked at all the tools of the File Explorer as well as various tools to manage your experience on Windows 10. And in closing, we're going to look at one particular tool that you'll have available to you if you're going to be working with an external hard drive or even the resident hard drive on your personal computer. And if you click on any external hard drive, you're going to see that you're going to have drive tools available. You can then click on the Manage link, and you're going to notice three sets of tools: the BitLocker, the Manage area, and then the Media area. You can optimize a drive by clicking here, and this will help you to defragment your drive so they'll run more effectively. You can analyze the drive you want to optimize and then optimize using this button. You can also use the cleanup feature. Now, this is typically only going to be relevant with your particular hard drive. But what the analysis does, it gives you a picture of what you can clean up on a particular drive. For example, in looking at this hard drive, there are 50 megabytes of temporary internet files that could be cleaned up. Now, if you need to format a drive, you can then click this button. You can also use the BitLocker in order to encrypt the data on your drive or any set of drives that you want to work with. And finally, you can use the autoplay command, and you can choose a default action for working with a particular drive. And you can do that using this dialog menu. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you either in another video or in another course.